All right, Coach. So it's been about a month since y'all finished up this season up in Washington. Just how has it been? Obviously, a lot has happened, but how have you been, and how has it been just starting the off season?
I wish I could tell you that it was an off season. We don't have off seasons, and especially with the transfer portal, um, you basically finish your last game and you're on the phone with recruits. Um, it's just different now. I remember getting on that plane at Spokane to fly back to Baton Rouge and hadn't had time to lick my wounds, and I'm on the phone with people in the portal, and I just sit here and go, this just doesn't seem right. And that's what we've been doing, just working. We have certainly lost players to the portal to other schools, so we have to bring players in from the portal.
Yeah, it's the new age
It is.
of college
It
basketball.
is.
Just how has it been adjusting to that? The portal kind of uprising and kind of becoming the new thing, and of course you still have high school recruits. Just how has that been adjusting to that whole movement of college basketball?
You either adapt or you retire. Many coaches of my age and generation have gotten out and just said they're not equipped to do this. And I feel like I have surrounded myself with assistant coaches who can help me stay in the game. And we have been very fortunate to bring in players out of the portal. We've also sadly lost some to the portal, but you have to adapt to what is happening now or get out.
Right. Yeah, and obviously recruiting has been a big skill set of yours from your time at Baylor and now at your time at LSU. Of course, led your team to another Elite Eight. Just, what made this team so special this year, and what maybe in ways has it allowed to stand out amongst other teams that you've coached?
I think each team that I've coached through the years is special in their own way. I've had teams that were great rebounding teams, that were uh, great offensive teams, and I'd have some that were just better defensively. When I think about this year's team, I think about how we had to take a lot of new players and we had to blend them in such a way that they helped us win games and continue to have a relevant program. When I think of this team, I think of we had to replace point guard. We had to replace a lot of production at the five, and we didn't ask them to do things they weren't capable of doing. And that's not easy. It's not easy to bring in new players and blend them in with returning players, and yet I thought we did. I thought we did a good job of it. Did we have some hiccups along the way? Yes, but I think that had to do more with injury. I think we lost some games there in the end of the conference season to good teams, but we weren't healthy.
Yeah, and all the things you said kind of comes with being a coach at a high level. I want to take it back to your early days, right? When basketball first came into your life. Just when did you kind of know basketball was going to be a special thing and a big thing in your life?
Growing up, I played all sports. Actually, softball was my first love. I played on a traveling softball team every summer because back then they did not have like leagues for young kids to do softball. I also played Dixie Youth Baseball and Pony League Baseball. And then when I was done with that, I began in high school. Well, junior high, I started playing junior high basketball, but I didn't really start playing summer AAU basketball until, gosh, like the ninth grade maybe. and we won all these national titles. And I still tried to play all the other sports in school, and I just realized that I don't have to pick one sport. I can play them all, but really, which one is going to pay for me to get a college education? And at that time, the only one that was visible was basketball. And we would see them play once a year for the national championship. And that's how I chose basketball, is I thought it was the one that would pay for my college education. I would get a full scholarship, and I was good enough, and it just kind of happened. But I didn't just focus on basketball. I played all sports.
Yeah, and like you said, basketball playing was a special thing. You have a decorated career. When you played, just what was the biggest thing you kind of learned or took away from your playing career?
How to handle the good times and the bad times, how to understand we come from all walks of life in a locker room and we're not all from the same background, and how to respect each other when you disagree with each other, and how the one common thread in a locker room and on a team is we all want to win. And no matter what our differences were, when we stepped on that floor, we had each other's back because you were on my team. And I guess you just call that competitive fire, and you hate to lose. And those were lessons learned at a very young age, very young age.
Do you have a favorite memory of your playing career? It might be hard to pinpoint one.
It really is too many to name just a few. I tend to remember team things more than individual things. I remember my 8th grade team went undefeated. That to me is as important as the 4 state championships in high school. All of those are as important as the 4 Final Fours in college and 2 national championships in college. And all of those are just as important to me as the Olympic gold medal. I would never tell you one is more important than the other. Most people from the outside would say, wow, the Olympic gold medal has to. No, it's really not. Your journey and things that you did along the way are so meaningful to you personally, and I don't ever forget it.
Just the concept of winning was enough for you to look back on your 8th grade team going undefeated and kind of hold that up to 4 national titles and say, yeah, like it's just as sweet.
It is. And was it several years ago after we won the national championship here at LSU, I was just sitting at my desk one day thinking about all the coaches that coached me in basketball are within a radius of Louisiana, and they're all still alive except one. And so I bought all of them a national championship ring, and that includes my 8th grade undefeated coach. That's personal to me, and it might not mean much to anybody outside, but to me, I didn't get to where I am as a coach without all the lessons, good or bad, that they taught me along the way.
Who was your 8th grade coach?
Her name is Miss Hannibal, and she still lives in the Amite area in Tangipahoa Parish. And she came, and she's come up here to the office and visited, and I can name you every teacher I ever had because they were so impactful. Those things mean a great deal to me, and it's amazing that I can tell you every school I went to, every teacher, what they taught me, because I just absorbed things. I just wanted to learn. I wanted to learn the game. I wanted to compete in the classroom. I wanted to compete on the court, and so many people are responsible for the success. Certainly my family, but I'm talking about people that impacted you every day of your life.
So when your playing career was finished, just how important was it for you to stay around basketball, to any degree that you could?
It wasn't. When I finished playing in 1984, the Olympics, I was done. And I was one of 5 basketball players, 10 total, 5 men, 5 women, that was selected to receive a postgraduate scholarship from the NCAA based upon our playing career and our grade point average. And I was selected so I could pick the school of my choice, and I stayed at Louisiana Tech. And I started working on my MBA, my Master's in Business Administration. And I had no intentions of coaching. My thought was, I'm going to get this Master's in Business. I'm going to fly all over the country and be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And that got derailed by the then president, Dr. F.J. Taylor, who's now deceased, called me to his office and said there was a change in the coaching, and he wanted me to help Leon Barmore, who he was going to name as the head coach. And I fought him. I was like, I'm done. I've had a great career here. And Dr. Taylor was a visionary, and he started the program at Louisiana Tech, and I just didn't want to let him down. And I told him I'd give him 1 year, and here I am.
What was that 1 year like from your point of view?
The 1 year was teaching myself basically how to recruit. It was teaching myself all the things an assistant coach needed to do. And I knew the game. I knew Coach Barmore's philosophy. It wasn't the basketball end of it that was different. What was different for me was just being rejected in recruiting. When you lose that first recruit you go after. And I think I've done everything as an assistant coach except scheduling. I never had to do scheduling, thank goodness. That to me is so difficult. But 15 wonderful years as an assistant and associate head coach. And we didn't have a lot of staff. I mean, you did multiple things as an assistant coach. Now I'm fortunate to have 10 on staff, and we spread it all around. But back then, you didn't have but 2 or 3 assistant coaches.
So from being an assistant coach and associate head coach at Louisiana Tech, like you said, coaching wasn't really a part of the plan always. Just what was the moment like when you truly bought in to yourself as a coach and was like, yeah, I could do this for a long time potentially?
I don't think I ever had that aha moment. I think I just kept working. I don't think it was, okay, my year's up, let me go back and finish my master's. I think you get involved in your job and you just keep working and you keep paying bills, and you that's your alma mater. You want to see it continue to succeed. And I don't think it was ever just like, aha, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. You just kept doing it. And I got older and just thought, this is a good job, and I'm a Louisiana girl. And as you age, you start going, okay, wow, I've done all of this as an assistant. I really think now I'm ready to be a head coach. But it takes maybe encouragement. It takes time to finally realize you're ready, because I turned 3 jobs down as an assistant because I didn't think I was ready. And what I mean by that is, was I ready to move out of Louisiana? I think, to be honest, you're somewhat scared to take that jump, even though there are many coaches that are assistants with the understanding, I want to be a head coach someday. I never was looking to be that head coach. And it just kind of felt right when people started calling at the time they did, and Baylor just happened to be the school on the phone. And hopped a plane and took that job on principle, really. I would have stayed at Louisiana Tech and been the head coach there if they had given me a 5-year contract. And Baylor did. And so the principal part of my heart and soul took over and said, if you're not worthy of a 5-year contract, you've been here 15 years, they've watched you grow up, then you need to go somewhere that will. And Baylor just happened to be the school on the phone.
Those jobs that you turned down initially, were they head coaching jobs?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was A&M, it was Missouri, and it was South Carolina. And I can tell you all the athletic directors that were there at the time. Good jobs, wonderful jobs, but I was like, no, I don't know. I don't think I'm ready.
I can't help but, notice the foreshadowing there.
Yeah,
A little
yeah,
bit.
it was all. Mike McGee was the athletic director at South Carolina. Joe Constiglione was the athletic director at Missouri, who's now at Oklahoma. And then John David Crow and Lynn Hickey were at A&M. Wonderful people.
Yeah, small world.
It is.
Right. Now I went over to Baylor, obviously left Louisiana. Just, was it hard for you? I'd imagine it was, but how hard was it for you to leave Louisiana?
Oh, it was. I cried probably the first 2 to 3 months every night. What have I done? Have I let my principal get in the way of what really is the right move? And lots of thoughts. My children were born in Louisiana. I left them back there with my husband, who was my husband at the time, and I just rolled my sleeves up, hired a staff that was unconventional. All of them stayed with me forever, and one's still on staff. And we just worked. We went after the right players that we could honestly get, that believed in us, that wanted to get a good education from Baylor and help us build a program. And we didn't go out and try to compete to come in second or third place or to get a visit out of them. We went after people that we thought, this kid's being overlooked. Let's see if we can't get them. And boy, did we make some good decisions.
Yeah, and quite the career that you built at Baylor, kind of the powerhouse that you built at Baylor. Just talk about that a little bit. Just kind of built that program to the powerhouse it became. Just what was that like from your point of view?
I took the job in 2000, and we won our first national championship within 5 years. And I thought, this is crazy fast. And once we started building that, I call it a dynasty, it just snowballed. And we were able to get in the doors of players that now recognize that, wow, they've got a good thing going in women's basketball there. And there were 7 years between each of the championships. I always kept perspective. I never knew or even thought about, can we win another one? Just keep working, keep winning. And we won so many Big 12 conference championships and Big 12 conference tournament championships. And so when I left there, I just stepped back and said, wow, we've won 23-something championships in the conference, including the tournament, and then 3 national championships. And when I left to come to LSU, it was very important to me that we didn't leave the cupboard bare. We had a top 5 team. We had a top 5 team returning. We had WNBA players that were going to be drafted. That was important to me because I think a lot of coaches will leave places because they're not able to continue it. That was not the case.
So to come back to Louisiana, to take the job at LSU, to win a national title just 2 seasons after being here.
I thought of those first years at Baylor, and I said, well, I thought 5 years was fast. 2 years is crazy. But the difference is you had the transfer portal, and we were able to bring in players out of the portal that helped us jumpstart the program back to relevancy. The program had already been relevant, been to 4 or 5 Final Fours, so I knew it could happen here. I knew that I would be comfortable here. This is where I grew up. Even though I'm not an LSU person, I didn't go to school here, but I grew up 40 minutes away. So I knew it was a place that could win at that level, but no way were you ever going to think that you could win one in 2 years. I came back to win one, but no way I could have told you 2 years.
And just how important was it for you to have not only a national championship in your home state, but just having success at LSU and in Louisiana? Just how important was that?
I remember the press conference, and I told everybody I came back here to be a positive. We hear so many times the negatives of our state and why people are leaving. I wanted to be remembered as one who had great success away from the state, but came here and had success, and I wanted to make everybody proud. And I wanted to make the state proud, not just LSU people. I wanted Louisiana Tech people proud. I wanted all the people in the state to be proud of the flagship university, whether you're an LSU fan or not. There are just certain things that were important to me. And that's probably as important to me as winning the national championship, is that we're a positive. People are talking about us in a positive light.
Good. All right. Thank you so much, Coach. I
We're
appreciate
good?
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
buddy.